Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I made it.
Hey, Bob, you're here.
I am. Andrea, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Let me get to a grid here so I can see everybody. People, show yourself. Come on. Andrea, I'm doing well. There we go. I need to see people. I've been locked up for 3 months. I'm going nuts.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Ron.
Hi,
Hi, guys.
Hello.
I want to start before we get into it. Thanks, Ron, for saving the day. This week has been unbelievable for me. It started off with my computer crashing. So I have no computer, so I'm working off an iPad. The virtual classroom does not work in an iPad. I've been trying to return emails to as many of you as I can. I've been trying to get into the shelves. I've ordered a new laptop that should be delivered. I was hoping it'd be delivered by now, but it's left the college by courier. It's left Dell, because that's who the college uses, and it's on its way in. I lost internet this morning on one of my undergrad classes, so I just finished recording a video that I posted up to them, and then the fire alarm went off in the condo. Great. Welcome to my Wednesday. Like almost anything that has gone wrong has been somewhat challenging. So I'm doing the best that I can. As we say, we're event planners, so we assess, we adapt, and overcome. So I reached out to Ron and asked him if he could set up a Zoom session. Thank you very much, Ron. Well, actually, it was his idea. It was his idea that he said, why don't we do this in Zoom? So
hey, Bob, we're a team. It doesn't matter whose idea it is.
Okay, it was a team effort between Ron and I. And I think I'm hoping, well, Ron is recording it, and I'm not that familiar with Zoom, but I'm hoping that somehow we can post this, maybe Ron, into eCentennial so that in the shell, so that students can view it that aren't with us right now.
I'll do that after the class, yes. No problem.
Perfect, okay. So let's, anybody wanna, how's it going? How are we doing? We're all in this together, and how are we getting along? I'm still smiling. I have to, because if I don't, like, you don't want to know. Andrea, let's start with you because you always like talking.
Not to put you on the spot.
Hey, I guess I'm the chatterbox in the group.
Oh, look at the dog! Oh my God!
Seriously, where do you stay? Where do you stay? Can I adopt him?
It's a girl. She's only 8 weeks.
Oh my God!
Cute.
What's her name?
Her name is Sadie.
Oh, wow.
Can Sadie be our class mascot?
Yes. So I've been keeping busy for sure.
You know you've got to bring her to convocation.
Yeah, she'll be 10 times bigger though.
That's okay, right? That's okay. I love dogs.
I can do the daycare thing if you ever want to go out somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd say bring her to class, but you know, we're not doing that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's adorable. Look at you. Know, out of everything that's gone wrong today, trust me, that's made my day. So Andrea, how's it going?
I think you should get an extra 5% on your total mark for that.
Should I go get mine?
Hey, Madison, you can actually say to Ron that the dog ate your not homework, but actually chewed on your keyboard, right?
She's chewing on my laptop for sure.
Yeah. I assume that she's teething or whatever. Do dogs teeth? They chew things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's just, let's go really quick around the room. Anyway, how are you doing? I mean, obviously someone's keeping very busy with the new dog. Anybody want to add anything? Is anybody going out, or is everyone still isolating?
I'm going out.
I go out sometimes.
I go out now.
Visit the beaches.
Now and again, like, I mean, I think things are opening up, and if you're able to maintain your distancing and stuff, like, I'm not a homebody, And so it's very difficult for me to stay inside. This is usually the season when there's lots of weddings and just all kind of activities happening because some so short. So I started going out, but just a little. Not to any parties or gatherings or anything like that, but just try to go out
What happened to my camera? Don't
Hey guys, could I ask everybody if they're not speaking, just mute their mics? If they're speaking, unmute their mic. Thank you.
Perfect. Andrea, any update on travel on your side?
Some destinations are opening up, not a lot. Some destinations are starting to slowly open up. So we're seeing changes happening, here and there, but not a lot of it. We've got like cruise lines are not sailing until the fall, and different stuff like that. I think one cruise line's out there, but the others are still holding off until the fall. A lot of destinations are test driving, being open to see how things are going to go, if things are going to spike. A lot of the suppliers or, from Canada, they're not touching the US at all. And, the US border between Canada and there still remains closed. So just a little bit of testing going on as to where people can go and stuff like that, but nothing exciting. I'm itching to go on a trip. I'm ready to go, but we've got to stay put for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Not much happening at all.
Yeah, I think that that's pretty well the same that's going, what we're hearing in the event side of it, that for at least in southern or throughout Ontario, most of the festivals and so forth in Canada, in Ontario and in Canada, the summer festivals have all been what they call postponed or have been canceled from a traditional format, but they might, some people, I was on the FEO website. If I think most of you, because you're in second semester, should be familiar with FEO, Festival Events Ontario. You should go onto their site and look at some of the things, even if you're not a member, you can go on and just go through of what they're doing. I'm doing it because I'm trying to do the research, but also trying to find out what is our future, where are we going. The other one I'd ask you to go to as well, as which I'm sure you're aware of, is IFEA, which is the International Festival Event Association. That's out of Boise, Idaho. Great association. And if you, just an FYI, if you decide to join FEO, Festival Events Ontario, do it before the end of this semester, because you'll probably have to have Ron sign off on it, or he could send an email to their office. Because if you saw, I think it's $50 for a year as a student, and it's $450 or something like that if you're not a student. So it's worth doing it as a student. And if you are a member of FEO, you're automatically a member of IFEA.
Okay.
So if you have any interest in moving into anything that pertains to music, festivals, parades, food festival, like any of those festivals, anywhere on your agenda moving forward, virtually or in the traditional the traditional format, I would highly recommend that you go on to the FDO website, go to the membership. It'll say student. Download it if you can. Maybe if you
Mr. Bob, can you? I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's Igor.
Hi, Igor.
Hi, Ms. Bob. This is possible if you can chat the website in the messenger for everyone.
Oh,
in the chat.
Yeah, we can do that, right, Rod? Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Mr. Bob.
we'll put the link up there. That's a great idea. Let me make a note. Yeah, so if where I'm going with this is that if your career path is in the or if you got an extra $50, just it's worth it. I mean, for the two memberships together, if it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars, US and Canadian. So for 50, I think it's $50 or $75, but I will, I'll work with Ron and we'll figure out, put up the links and so forth for it. Again, if you're going that direction.
Bob,
Yeah.
Bob, just email that to me and I'll put it up here on this as well as on, I'll make an announcement on the news feed as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I have the link for Festival and Events Ontario in there.
You sent it to Ron already?
I just added it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. It's just a thought. And why I'm saying, I mean, there's other ones. I'm focusing more on the festivals right at the moment, but there's MPI, PCMA. Maybe I'll get all the links. You're going to see them actually as you dive deeper into the shell, or into the weeks into this semester. You'll see some of the associations. And the reason I'm bringing this up is these associations are linked to all our industries. Just like what Andrew was talking about. And if you don't know, because Andrew and I have had conversations, she's a travel agent, has been for years, has her own agency and so forth. And they have their own associations and so forth, obviously, they deal with. I don't know all of them. I don't know them actually, because I'm not in the travel side of it. But on the event side, we have a list of them. And I would start really looking at diving into them, because they could be your links to employment. It could be your links to consulting, to collaborating. Like, you're graduating in 9 weeks from now, if you think about it. I mean, who in the heck would have ever thought back last year, or basically 7 months ago, or 6-7 months ago back in September, that we would be doing this? I mean, you couldn't predict this. We couldn't predict it. But with that being said, you know, you completed first semester elegantly, all of you. You did, on my phone, oops, sorry. I'll hang up on them, unless, I wonder if that's the laptop. Oh, shoot. Ron, can you fill just for a moment?
Sure. Do you guys want me to play a song?
Yeah, go ahead. I think this could be my laptop being delivered by the college.
Hi, everybody. As you know, I'm taking over for Bob in this course for the rest of the term. So you have me. Bob has been giving me an update on what he's done so far, what's coming up. And I probably will have 1 or 2 more of these with you, but I most likely will do it in Zoom, not on the virtual classroom, because I find it easier to use, and also it's it's better technology as a whole. So I also got it looks like we got a link for the East Coast Music Association from Andrea as well. So I posted already the festival and events on our site. So you can see that on the homepage, the newsfeed. I'll put this post as well for the East Coast Music Association there as well. You guys have any questions of me?
Where are you?
So you're taking over for this, starting this week?
It's starting next week, but he's doing an introduction today. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I have to run to the lobby. My laptop is there. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, Bob.
We're waiting.
Okay. All right. So.
Anyway, I want to apologize too with the shell not being open. I had a bit under the weather last week and wasn't thinking straight in this COVID world. I didn't have COVID, don't worry. And but it's all up and running. I gave you some extra time as well. Okay.
Right, but week 4. So.
I didn't hear that. Sorry. Go ahead.
Did you open week 4 recently? Because as of this morning, it wasn't open.
Yeah, it's open now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tanya, for letting me know about that. I really enjoyed some of your Say Yes Challenge videos, by the way. There was some very interesting things going on.
Don't even mention the lipstick thing, Ron, please.
Yes, so I really liked, some of you were very creative. And it was nice. Hey, how you doing?
It seems like my partner took all the grudges.
So
She
when you
knew
did that,
everything that I hated, and she made me do everything that I hate.
that was very good of you. Yes. So in other times when we did this when we were in Clash, actually people did it in like they did it throughout the campus. It was quite interesting, and they videotaped it. But this is COVID, and I was glad you were able to do something and partner with someone or a friend or a family member. That was also acceptable. Do you have any questions, guys? You know what I've done? You want to know what I've done in COVID? Anybody want to know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
How many songs have you played on your guitar?
Oh, there we go. So I have my taken up guitar.
That's what I was looking
Ah.
for.
And I took my first lesson in 35 years today.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm not gonna play.
Ah!
Come
Play a
on. You
song,
look forward to it.
please.
You can go ahead.
Play a song.
No, I'm not gonna play.
You could sing the old ones, Summer of '69. Start with that.
That's quite an easy song, actually, but I'm not gonna sing it because
Let us ask Adi to sing. You play the strings and Adi will sing. He's a singer, by the way.
Yeah, so I used to be in a band. I used to play in front of large audiences. I used to play in bars, that kind of stuff. And then I just quit. I didn't play for a long time. And a week ago, I was at a friend's house, and some musicians, real musicians, were there, and they got me playing again. And one of them actually offered up lessons, and I went for my first lesson today. And I learned quite a bit today. Everything kind of started to connect for me that I didn't even know about back then when I used to play. So it was quite interesting. But I will, my goal is to play in a bar or different places and have a whole set of repertoire songs that I'll be singing. So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Looking forward to hear you someday.
Ron's talking about his musical performance.
Yes. Yes.
You missed it, Bob. I played 2 notes, 2 chords.
I do not sing. I was when I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, they asked me to go up for a charity karaoke. You know, when you hold the microphone, you have to read the lines and so forth. And I did it over at the Holiday Inn. I think it was Holiday Inn Warden. And I said, no. And they forced me to go up. And the DJ turned around and said, man, you suck. And I'm going, I couldn't carry a note if my life depended on it. I go to church and I hum. I just cannot sing at all. So Ron, we look forward. Maybe you can serenade everybody as you're going through the rest of the semester.
Well, I promise you this, our last Zoom we have, I will sing a song.
There you go. So as I was sort of going into, and when you dive deeper into the semester and the modules open up, and they should be opening up automatically on Mondays, I think around midnight, something like that. They should be. And unless there's some technical glitches, there was a glitch with the Gervais link, which is actually a live link, and it takes you right to the site, to Gervais actually for the quote. That was your exercise this week. I think your knowledge check was completing that PO. Once you completed, it should have created a PDF. It should have sent back a PDF for you to be able to post up into the knowledge check. It should have. Did that work or no? Has anybody done that? Andrea, no? You didn't see it?
I'm wondering if I missed it. I didn't see anything like that.
No, maybe it's, hold on a second. No,
No, I didn't see anything like that.
maybe it's,
Maybe it's next week. Was that for experiential events?
Did we lose Bob?
No, he's there.
You talking?
No, he's gone. Maybe he'll come out.
There's your cutie. All right, so we've lost Bob again.
Oh,
Where'd he go?
he got
He's having
disconnected.
challenges.
He was talking about some trouble with the internet, right? So maybe he must have got disconnected.
So he was asking if you guys had looked at the Gervais link yet. Has anyone taken a look at that yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so you may want to get onto that in your spare time.
Go check.
I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, but the
So we are in week 3 or 4, right? 4, I think.
4.
Yeah, so he was wondering if you guys had hit this Gervais link. I'll open it up right now. So this is obviously a supplier to events, mostly tents and party rentals as such, and supplies. So he just was wondering if you guys had maybe can take a look at this link as part of the request that he's made here. Are there any other questions, guys, about the turnover or anything? So what he wants you to do here is go to the Gervais Rentals and then click on Request a Quote on the top right side of the home page. He wants you to select categories on the information provided and then select the rental products and enter the quantity you would like to get a quote on. He wants you to click Continue to serve other web categories as well. Then step 6 wants you to calculate the costs of the event. Okay. Your completed quote should include the following items. Okay.
Yeah, it works fine.
All right.
I'm back.
So I was just filling in for you, Bob. So I was talking about what they need to do with this sourcing these items and getting costs.
Yeah. Did I have it hidden or was it visible?
Well, it looks like it's visible.
It was visible.
Oh, it was.
It worked.
Okay. I know that there was some problems with the link, but we refreshed them, and if you click on it, it should take you to Gervais. I talked to the general manager, George Ogston, who sits on our PAC, and may even come in as a guest speaker later in the which I want to talk about our speakers later in the semester. What actually happens is that you go into the site all the equipment that's there, you match the pricing up and put the quote together, and you actually submit it into Gervais, but they know on the other end, when it shows your My Centennial account, that it's not an actual quote. So you don't have to worry about putting any price, like a credit card in or anything along that line. So just, it's a knowledge check. It's a little exercise for you to do. It doesn't take too long.
You won't be getting a bill in the mail, don't worry.
You won't be getting a bill in the mail. You know, but it's interesting, when I was talking to George yesterday, I was asking him how things were going and so forth. Last year at this time, he had 126 employees, meaning the summer is one of his busiest times next to the holiday season. And now he's down to 6 employees, and which is huge. And so, I mean, the one thing, this is a good time to be educated, because eventually when things reopen up, but his concern, as he was saying to me, and this might be something that you want to look at with your next assignment that will be opening up in a couple weeks, which is the event blog, is about the impact, but also the recovery side of it. And what George said to me, he said, listen, you know, it's all these weddings that have been deferred. So they do a lot of tenting and things for festivals and for outdoor carnivals, but they also do a lot of backyard weddings for tents and so forth. The problem that he said, his recovery, is that he's already booking into 2021, 2022 with tenting. So it's his inventory supply. I mean, tents are expensive. So he's not going to buy a $50,000 tent to rent it out for one summer. So the problems, the challenge is people that are not getting married this July and August are deferring it to next year for July and August. But will the equipment, will the venues, or will the tenting and so forth be available? That's his concern. So I said, what's your sort of strategy on it? And he says, we're going to be booked. He says the challenge, what he feels will happen, is that people that were doing a traditional event, let's say in a venue, and I know you're doing site logistics, I believe, right now, that people that did a traditional, they can't get the venue anymore because it's not available. They're going to move it into their backyard, or they're going to do it in an off-site event.
Okay.
And the equipment might be available, might not be available. So, so we're just to, if anyone has any questions, if there, I'm just looking, is there any up in the chat box? No. I got a couple up here. Okay, perfect. So someone has already done the exercise. Oh, Tanya, perfect. So you did the Gervais, you were able to download the PDF. It's posted, fantastic. So when I that was my laptop. And if you're just joining us, I'm working off an iPad right now, and it's having its own little challenges connecting to the internet. But I'll go in and do the assessment on those. So you should be able to complete that little task quite quickly. The other one is there was a couple glitches with the link for the career success certification. It's not due yet. It's not due till week. You got a couple more weeks to finish that up. But I did solve, I think a couple people sent me emails last week or the week before saying they couldn't get into the site, but it did get in. I hope, are you progressing along? Any feedback on that? That's the career modules. There's 4 modules that are in there that need to be completed. Once you complete it, you should be sent a PDF certificate of completion, and you just put that up into the career success file under assessments, and that's it. The next one that's opening up is the event blog, as I say. So I would really sort of dive into, I mean, covert's a big deal, but, you know, really look at maybe a different idea of how we can move forward as an industry. If you want to be very specific on life cycle events or corporate events or festivals, or food events, large gatherings, that's fine. But find an article that's out there create the blog, put the link for the article in there. It's all going to be in the instructions. That gets rolled out week 6. And then you got about a week to put it together. Then all the links will be collaborated together, sent to you, and you get to, for your blog response, you get to pick up 2 or 3 of them and then respond back to them. Your Gmail accounts are all up and running. Everybody's got those, which is good. Most of them are completed. They'll be a little bit later in the semester. We'll roll out. I would start diving deeper into your career portfolio. I know you've got from Jeff's class last semester your most updated resumes, which is good. I would start doing some, and you can start with associations if you want, but you should start looking for some opportunities that are out there from the employment end of it, obviously, and start filling up some of those other folders, and we'll roll a little bit of more of that out. Normally in this semester, because this is experiential event operations, you would be in the traditional format. If we were face-to-face in the classroom, you would be actually out in the field. You'd be working, you would be working with me in the classroom once a week for 2 or 3 hours, or you would be working remotely. And you would be participating in 60, what we call WIL, which is work integrated hours. Obviously, we're not doing that because it's at a distance now. So what we say for the WIL, which is the work integrated learning, or the ELO, which stands for, what does ELO stand for?
Educational learning opportunity or something like that?
Sorry?
Was that educational learning opportunity? Is that what it is? I don't know. Yeah,
Event learning opportunities. So work integrated learning is really, it's the practical, it's like the living lab. It's like the practical application. So any of you that were in 1835 that in 1831, which is our traditional in the class, you would have put in 60 experiential hours out in the field somewhere. It could have been in summer festivals. It could have been with Caravana. It could have been with the Toronto Indie. Could have been anywhere, any one of the festivals. We've had them from Rib Fest to music festivals to different event companies. Could be the CIBC Run for a Cure, any of these type of things. That's the traditional format. Obviously, that this summer we're not doing that. So we will be rolling out some form of exercises through Ripen, which I mentioned to you, for you to be able to do individually or collaboratively. If you decide to do it in a group of up to about 4 of you, you can work on it. And hopefully it'll be picked up by industry itself. It might be, it might not. It might just be put into a depository. Now, saying that, I have a meeting next week and a meeting tonight regarding 2 Scarborough-based events. That one is for the Scarborough Hospitals and the other one is for SCRO, which is the Scarborough Community Renewal Organization. And we might be able to create, I mean, everyone, anyone that has done traditional planning of events are now looking at alternatives, meaning different ways of delivering the product. And we may have the opportunity to partner with these real organizations. If you do find a opportunity that you want to participate online with, meaning throughout the FEO links or IFEA, there might be an opportunity for you to participate in a virtual virtual conference. I've actually been on 2 of them already. One was back last semester and one was just recently. And I participated as a delegate, but you might be able to participate on the back end of it. And it could be as simple as what I'm finding, that when people are doing these virtual meetings like this, they're focusing on their presentations. They actually have people that are in the chat room that are actually reading the questions that people are typing out and reading them to the facilitator, and then the facilitator's answering them. And the reason for that, it's a little multitasking. If you think when you're doing a presentation and talking that you're trying to read in the chat room, yeah, you're trying to read into the chat room itself. So if you want to dive into FEO, and I use that, or IFEA or MPI or PCMA, any of these ones, and see if there's opportunities for you to partner, learn, collaborate with them. You can use that for your, it'll fit well into your your work integrated learning. We are not going to track you like saying it's 60 hours. It's an arbitrary a number. I mean, that's very easy to measure when you go to an event, Sip, Shop, and Celebrate, or if you're at the Great Kitchen Party, or if you're at the Toronto Indie. I mean, you spend 2-3 days or 10-hour days, we know the hours are tracked. So we're not really going to be tracking the amount of hours that you put in. It's more about the content that you can pull out of it. So for the will assignment, what it is, it's really, it's like your reflective discussion boards that you did last semester, that you'll be given 5 questions and you answer those questions in, it can be done in a traditional essay format if you want to. It can be done in a voiceover, Prezi, or PowerPoint if you want to, or it can be done as a video if you want to. And then it would be posted up into week 13, it's due week 12. So we'll get that out to you. It rolls out in week 8. You got about 4 weeks to do it in. So week 8 it rolls out, you can complete it in week 12. Questions, obviously, if you need any ideas or suggestions, roll them out to Ron. As he indicated when I had to step out, I'm glad I did. Now I got a laptop. I'll be back up in business in a few hours, which is good. Ron's lead as of today, or as of next week when module 5 rolls out. You all know Ron, he's excellent. He knows the course, he knows the content. Reach out to him. Yep. And Ron has been my coordinator, so I coordinate the program. In the past, when Ron has stepped in and helped me out tons, so he knows a lot about all the courses, all the programs, and he'll definitely help you out if you need any assistance and so forth. With Nicole, I think, yeah, you guys know Nicole Bailey, who taught you budgeting. She will be for the 9 weeks, she'll be the acting coordinator for the program itself. It's just we're just moving things around a little bit. And between
I got demoted, guys. That's okay, you know.
Ron did not get demoted. Nicole's first time as a coordinator. Ron has been an amazing coordinator for 2 years doing it, and we're just trying to mix things up to see. We're learning as we go too. And what we mean by that is, you know, we're going into the fall. You guys are all graduating at the end of August, which is fantastic. And bearing no problems, we'll see all of you walk across the stage in June of 2021. Fingers crossed. We have no idea, but we're going there. That we don't know where we're, you know, again, we're in undiscovered waters and so forth. So we're calling on all of our faculty to do different roles and to keep the momentum of our educational system going. Remember your Gmail accounts. I know that everybody's got one, which is important. Everything that everything that I've released and Ron will be releasing that's set on timers, you can copy, cut, paste, take that stuff away, keep it all, put it up in a file if you want in your Gmail and your Drive account. And the reason being is at the end, September 4th, I believe that's the cutoff date, Ron. I don't have it in front of me, but if there's a date, the shell will shut down and you won't have access to it. And I believe it's August 30th or September 4th, one of those days. So anything that you want, especially when you'll start seeing in week 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to see templates that are in there for service agreements, contracts. Feel free to take these. These are they're contracts that I've worked with and have developed with individuals when I did work for the Ontario Sport Awards with the province. So they're legal contracts. I developed, so there's no plagiarism or copyright, but you can use them and fill in the blanks if you need to do contracts down the road as independent event planners. So I just ask you, and I recommend that you download as much of this stuff if you think you're going to use it or if you're not going to use it. With your Gmail accounts, obviously, if you've let me have access to it, great. I'll be giving you some information and stuff as we go along. And then after you graduate, that's how I communicate as the coordinator, and other faculty stay in touch with you. So it's important, as much as that drive account that you have is part of the assessment, the e-binder, as we said in semester 1 and semester 2. Think of it as a living document. And everything that you're getting from all these 13 courses you're taking, you should be putting in there and using it as a depository moving forward. Great ideas. You know what? Take everybody, the blogs that you guys are going to do and the links and things that go on. When Ron posts it all, just cut, paste it, stick it up in your blog file up there, plus yours that's up there as well too, for future reference. These will never die. I mean, unless Google goes out of business, that'll never happen, right, Ron? This Drive account will be your depository, and I use it all the time. I like it. I mean, there are Dropbox. We're looking at other things, something called Teams. I know some people use it's part of the Microsoft platform, but for all of you, we're using the Google Drive. So I recommend, one is that you've got your 5 files. You can set up your sub files in there, but start pulling stuff out of any of the courses. I said that in first semester, and I would highly recommend it in second semester. There's no quizzes in this class. We don't have any quizzes. It's basically project-based because it's really a practical application. I would highly recommend for you, we will have some guest speakers that will be coming in, and with Ron's permission, I'd like to drop in and listen to the guest speakers. They're graduates. One will be a graduate from the program from a few years ago. Another one is an industry, someone that's been in the industry for years. She's agreed to do it. I'm trying to secure someone from Enterprise Toronto that will talk about entrepreneurship and opportunities for business, because there are grants that are available there for you. You know that, I mean, you're students right now, so, and you're full-time students, so you can't really apply for any of the funding models that are out there, to my understanding. But come September or come the end of August, there could potentially be small business funding, and that could be for domestic or international. The feds are everything is on the table moving forward, and we are going to need what I said at the beginning of this conversation, that don't look outside the box, throw the box away and become a disruptor. You've got to start thinking about, no matter if you're self-employed or working for someone else, every single employer is going to say, how do we generate revenue? How do we generate revenue? It's not going to be, well, do we make a floral, a set a table? That's important, obviously, but it's how we're going to be generating revenue. Everyone is going to be saying that. And because we are in uncharted waters, and you really need to dive deep into when you hear what's going on federally, provincially, and municipally. It's not, we can't throw up our hands and go like, oh my gosh, it's over, we're done. That's not the case. We just have to look at things in a different perspective, and figure out how we can partner with our industry associations. That, one, obviously creates revenue for us, but also creates revenue for them, or partner with companies. Companies aren't going to be running out and just hiring people left, right, and center. It's going to be done in a completely different format. What I would also recommend, I know Ron will have at least 2 drop-in, I think you'll have 1 or 2 drop-in sessions over the rest of the semester. You need to work on your camera presence. And that, what I mean by that is, for all of you that sign in, which is great, and I can see you, I mean, some of you always sign in, which is fantastic, is great. But other ones that sign in but don't, open up, or don't want to show their video, or don't want to show themselves, I get that and I understand it. But what we are doing today, and what we're practicing, and we're all in it together and we're learning together this way, this is the way that we are going to be selling our products moving forward. The day of going into offices and sitting down with 10, 15 people and doing a PowerPoint presentation is off the table. more and more people are going to be working from home. It's financially more sustainable for corporations, over and above safer for corporations to do it. So for us, we've got to learn how to be able to sell and deliver our product all online. So this is your sort of testing ground to be able to use platforms like Zoom, platforms like the virtual classroom, platforms like GoToMeeting. Try it, try them out. It's better to, and maybe you have little groups that you decide over the next few weeks that you get into groups of 4 or 5. And Google now has, Google has Meet, I think it's called Meet. So all of you have a Gmail account and it's free to use. It's like Zoom. And you could maybe once a week collaborate together, have a half-hour conversation about the event industry and ideas and so forth. Showing yourself how you're going to present yourself to future clients. I would highly recommend that you do that. I'm looking at, is there any questions up there, Ron? I can't, sorry about that. I'm trying to, I don't see anything. No, we're good. Anybody's got any questions? Andrea, you always have, turn your microphone on, Andrea, on. You always have a question for me. And I want to see the puppy. Where's the puppy?
No, I have no questions right now, Bob.
Oh.
I think
and your setting is very professional. Your setting is very professional.
Thank you. I think I'm good for now. I guess I'll bug Ron if there are any questions moving forward. But I will send you an email because I needed to talk to you something separate. But
sure. Yeah. I'm available. And Ron, you look like a scholar. I always like his backdrop. I assume this is your library.
It looks like an office setting there, Ron.
Yeah, I think it's his library in his house, isn't it?
And the guitar.
Oh, yeah. I like his out of all. I can't favoritize faculty, but out of all the backdrops, I like his. It looks like a library. Like it's. Yeah, but Ron, you run a business. Ron, is it a lot? You run a bit. Do you run the business from there?
I do.
Oh, okay. So that's yeah. It looks like a library with all the books on the side and the bookshelves and so forth. Yeah, Ron, as I think most of the students know, but Ron runs a very successful communication company and has been a vice president, director of multinational company, McDonald's and Dairy Queen and Tim Hortons and so forth, that now runs his own business. And actually, because of COVID-19, it has, would you say, picked up in pace a bit, Ron?
My business has never been busier.
Yeah.
So what's happening actually is I'm starting to build e-commerce websites and social media marketing programs, different things I taught you guys. And everybody's catching on. They want me to do it for them. And I'm going to have to hire some people shortly. I got 2 interns from one of my digital classes, and they're plugging away. One of my other big clients quadrupled their spend all of a sudden. And it's just being crazy busy. So, and I'm doing my master's degree. So other than that, I'm okay. You know?
Busy time.
Busy time.
So as we can see that some businesses, I mean, obviously have taken a bit of a hit. Other businesses have succeeded. And that's where I sort of say is be the disruptor. That there is, I have a feeling there is going to be funding out there for entrepreneurs. There's going to be funding for corporations to hire people, to do contract work. And I would even recommend, it's difficult to maybe digest this, but I would highly recommend for you to have multiple revenue sources coming in. And what I mean by that, don't just wait for that full-time job to happen. Have different revenue sources come in. You might work for 3 different individuals or 3 different companies distantly from home. And on a Monday, Tuesday, you're doing this work. On a Wednesday, Thursday, you're working for this company. And on a Friday, you're working for this company. And you have different revenue sources coming in, as well as coming in from different, let's say, different styles of planning, event planning. Different. You might be it might be working for a rental company, like we were talking with Gervais. And when their business starts up again, they'll probably be working remotely. Maybe it's taking orders and doing ordering. That's one revenue source. Another one could be from the take. I know that a couple of the restaurants in Toronto that I'm aware of, their online delivery has just exploded. There's actually a lady that lives in my condo on my floor, actually, that has been laid off because the Italian restaurant, it's a very small family-run restaurant at, I think, Coxwell and Danforth in that general area. It's been there for 45 years. She's worked there 40 years. And I asked her the other day in the hallway, and I said to her, so how's it going? She said, well, I'm laid off. I said, well, what about the owners? They are busier than ever. They are doing, it's all based on curbside pickup or curbside. They don't do skip the dishes, Uber Eats, and I think there's another one of those providers and so forth. They just do by orders coming in. They've got a website that's sort of like Mickey Mouse because they didn't know what they were doing. But they're even thinking that they may not go back to a traditional format restaurant. I think I mentioned to you that I have a boat down at Scarborough Bluffs at CBYC, a sailboat. And trust me, that's another conversation, but it was a very interesting way to keep a distance and putting in a 6,000 pound boat into a water. But anyways, Babu, who runs our concessions, our dining room and our bar and so forth at the club, also has his own restaurant. And I said to him, how's it going? And he goes, Bob, I'm open Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. He says, I love it. He says, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. He says, I've got pickups at 6, 6:15, 6:30, like just all these pickups. And what he does is he does an unbelievable, on Saturday nights, he does a butter chicken that's absolutely unbelievable. But what he does is he has a very limited menu. It's all prepackaged for a couple for 2 or a family for 4 or a family of 6 packages. People email him and he processes the credit card and so forth, and away it goes. And they drive up, he puts it in and gone. He has, all his staff has been laid off, but he's doing fine. I mean, as he's not doing the revenue that he used to do, but he doesn't have the expenses. So as we move forward, and I'm just saying is that you need to really look at different revenue sources and different ways of bringing money into you to keep you sustainable for the next period of time. I think that's it. So there will be a couple guest speakers that will be coming in throughout the semester. I really encourage you to join in. They are assessed. They're worth 5%. There's a little reflective practice you do on that. We'd like you to join in for those. You'll get plenty of notice, at least 2 weeks notice. I'm trying to secure Josh, who's out in Ottawa right now, who is typically he's the chair of our PAC. He's a graduate from the program. He's seen a lot of changes. He's worked for the Chamber of Commerce. He's worked for the I think it's called the Mozapera Festival up in Barrie. He's worked for Luminata, and now he's with a brewery company and basically working at a distance. But he produced 2 major festivals up in the Ottawa area that I want to see what he's now doing moving forward. And then another one is a faculty member was a faculty in this, she's retired. She has got 30 years of experience in events, predominantly in the corporate conference market, meeting management side. She was a teacher at George Brown for years. She was a teacher at Centennial for years. She was also a teacher at the University of Las Vegas online years ago, before when online was just the beginning. And now she has some work that she does pro bono, and she'll talk to you about that. But I'd like to bring her in. She's just got a vast amount of knowledge. So I'm trying with Sandy Buyback's her name, and I'll send out bios on these people and so forth. I'd also like to be able to bring somebody in from an agency, if I can, from a staffing agency, to see what their directions are going to go. because whatever we do moving forward, PPE is going to be on the top of our list. As I said earlier in this conversation, I was talking to George, and they have a table set up with masks and gloves. Anybody that goes, and they can only accept people into their facility by appointment. And if you don't have masks and gloves, then they're giving them. So think about it. You know, that's what I'm saying is different revenue sources, different opportunities that are out there. If you find something that's really cool that you want to share, make it into your blog and get that up and running. And I look forward to reading those. If you see an event that you want to participate in for your work integrated hours, instead of using the Ripen platform or a package assignment that we give you, do it. If you need, maybe you can get 3 or 4 of you together to participate in an event. Maybe you want to create your own online event. If you want to create something, and I'm not trying to speak out of turn, Ron, I'm just saying, but you know, maybe if 4 or 5 of you want to get together, create a free discovery session on online learning as students, from a student's perspective. Do it. We, again, throw the box away and be a disruptor. Think of something that is completely different. And I'm going to leave you with a couple things. Did I, last semester, and this is just an age thing, I think I'm losing, did I show you my cell phone? Andrea, did you guys see the cell phone? Did I bring it in? I talked about it. No? My first cell phone, I'm going to leave you, this is about, it's interesting, and what I say by this is when we say we've got to always stay ahead of the game, and I try to as much as I possibly can, is to try and be different and trying to obviously save money, but also maximize my time as much as I possibly can.
Hey,
So,
Bob,
yep.
Bob, I have to go, everybody. I have another call here at 4 o'clock, so just wanted to let you know. But I'm good. So, but I look forward to working with everybody. And you can email me as always, and I'll get back to you quicker than last week when I was sick. I couldn't do that, but I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Thanks, everybody.
Can I stay on, Ron, for 5 minutes or no?
You can. I'm just gonna turn it off.
Okay.
And turn me off.
I want to show them my cell phone. So back in 1990, I bought my first cell phone, which is this thing. Can you guys see that? That is my first cell phone.
My God.
1990. This is you want to see the battery? That is the battery.
That is
Bob, that more looks like a weapon kind of phone.
You have no idea. So hold on, listen. So this was the phone. You can hear it. You can hear it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that cost me just around $2,000. It was about $1,900, and it was $1 a minute. Think about that, $1 a minute.
So did you walk with that?
Sorry?
Did you walk around with that?
Yeah, it has a pouch. Can you see that?
Oh my God. That's more like a professional camera pouch.
Oh, you see? Can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's so big.
Yeah, it's too huge. How do you carry everything?
This went in like this, and then this went over like this, which it says Motorola, which I think you can see probably there. And I would carry it like this, right? So, but I wanted to tell you the story about it. So I bought that phone back in 1990, and I had 2 other partners in the catering and the event business that I ran out of Scarborough, which was at Morningside and Shepherd. And these guys, well, one was a lady, it was Bob and Gwen, and they said to me, "How much?" And I said, $1,900. And they said, and I said, and it's $1 a minute. But I said, what it'll do is it's going to take me from behind the desk, put me into a vehicle, which was a safari van, that we could load up with our drop-offs, our setups, our decor, whatever we want. And I could go downtown, or I could go out to the airport, and I'd be doing breakfast setups or lunch setups or whatever they were, buffets or servers, whatever it might be. So I was now fully mobile, not sitting behind a desk. And then in my downtime throughout the day, what did I do? I made sales calls on this, and I would phone if I was over at the Royal Bank Plaza. I'd be in the underground and with the shipping receiving area, I'd phone, and I might phone TD, or I might phone the Toronto Board of Trade and ask if I could drop off one of my packages, conference packages or menu event packages. And they said, well, if you're in the area, and I would be in the area, obviously. So I conducted business, and it actually, my cell phone was $800 a month. But the point was, I was doing two roles now. I was the delivery person, setup person, as well as being the salesperson. Also, I got back to clients immediately, so that what would happen is when I was doing out on an event, because it was a small business. I mean, there was 3 of us that were full-time and about 25 part-time employees. But if I'd be out on an event and there was an inquiry, then I'd have to get back to the office and then return the call to them. This way, they could just call me directly on my cell phone. So then the next thing we passed, that was 1990. 1998, I bought what was the first, this was $900, and this is the first flip phone, if you can see that. It's the very first flip phone. It has a stylus like this, and it actually has a screen that's an app that you could go into it. So the company was growing, my company was growing a little bit and was doing well, and I was doing my sales calls, and I didn't have to carry around this big bag. Like, I was going like this half the time, right? And I had this little phone. But then with this, and again, the partners in the company were going, what the heck are you going to do with that? I said, I'm going to be able to do my quotes, my RFPs, and my contracts, and my event orders on my phone. And they said, how are you going to do that? I said, because there's this other device, which you'll see, and this is the very first cell phone keypad that opens up. Can you see that?
Wow.
So, can you see this? Right?
Yeah.
So this would lay flat. The phone would attach to this like this, right? I would be downtown Toronto at the Commerce Court with this phone stuck to a keypad, typing up event orders, and people would be walking by going, what the hell is that? And I said, well, I'm an event planner, and I said, I'm working on a contract for a client. And I would have my cards with me, and I would hand the card saying, celebrity off-premise caterers, if you need anything. They would say, this is unbelievable. No downtime, fully operational and mobile. That's what that is. So we've gone from that big bag to this, and now what are we on? We're on devices that are like this, creating contracts, and we're working on iPads. So this all working distantly is going to be the future, and we just have to get a little bit ahead of it, and that's how we're going to be beneficial doing this. When I was in class in college, basically a long time ago, a prof would come into a classroom, they would stand in front, we'd open a textbook, he would start reading or she would start reading, and then they would point to people in the class, we'd stand up and just start reading the chapter and so forth, and some people would make notes and whatnot. Many years later, when I first got into the teaching profession, we used a thing called overheads, which was basically a projector that you put a transparency on, and it would project it up on a screen. I'd sit down there beside it, and I'd fill out with a Sharpie the event order or the contract. Then we moved into the next stage, which was PowerPoint presentations, and now we're moving into virtual learning, and we're moving into small videos and so forth. This is going to be the future for us as event, especially in the sales side of it, that how are we delivering our product to the client? So if it's returning them with the big massive phones, or the first keypads that you have, which I use, or if it's using this type of technology, it's where we're going. So you've got to look at that for the future of what you're going to be doing. If it's looking for work, revenue generation, and I think a couple of us talked about it last semester, that it is all the next 2 years, maybe even 3 years, is going to be based on generating revenue. Every business is going to be saying, we need salespeople or revenue generators, not order takers, revenue generators. And the reason for that is federally, provincially, and municipally, we have been supporting society, which is great, and I totally agree with it. But we have got mass amounts of debt, like mass, billions and billions of dollars worth of debt that somehow is going to have to be paid back, and it's typically paid back through the economy. And companies and corporations are going to want to have a fleet of people out there trying to be efficient and also trying to generate revenue as much as possible. So when I'm saying, you know, change is all a part of what we do, and it's just trying to connect the dots. I have no fear. I don't. I never have. I've tried lots of things, and lots of things don't work. Trust me. I have multiple things. The cell phones, they worked. It made logical sense. It worked well, and I was able to maximize my time. And for me, as an event planner, as a caterer, and when I say catering, I mean catering to customers' needs, which I said in semester 1. It's not about, I'm not culinary, I never have been. That it's all about time management and maximizing your time and getting back to the client as fast as you possibly can, or the guest, one way or the other. But I wanted to show the phone to you. So I never showed that to you before, eh? I didn't bring it to class. Sometimes I bring it to class in semester 1. I took it into the office and showed Michelle and the faculty. My God, they went like, did you carry? I said, yeah, like that. You don't really get the weight of this thing, but it's heavy. I'll bring it to convocation, right? It is the most heaviest cell phone you can actually buy. And it still works.
Bob.
Yeah.
Tell me very honestly, is it like a spy gadget for you? Because it surely does look like it.
It looks like a what?
A spy gadget.
Oh, a spy gadget.
Yeah.
No, when I say it works, it doesn't. It's on the network that it used to be on was called Cantel. It was called, if you can see that, it was called the Cantel network. This was the little book that you know, the directions that it came with. It had this really neat feature that was called call forwarding. So you could forward, I mean, this is actually, when was this published? Just wondering if it has a publishing date on it. $1988. Yeah, it was copyrighted. I don't know if you can see it, but right there, 1988. But I didn't get it till 90, a couple of years later. Anyways, it could be a weapon too. So heavy, right? Okay, any questions? Anybody? I got some questions up here. Hold on. Try, Andrea, what's that drink? Those aren't questions. You put questions, and if you go down to the bottom in Zoom, you'll see to everyone, or you can send a private one just to anybody that you want.
We can't send private.
Sorry?
We cannot send private in Zoom. Only to the host we can send private message.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can text each other.
You can send private in Zoom.
We
You
can?
Can.
Yeah, because I've been in Zoom before and I send private messages.
Yeah, but I can't do it now.
Yeah,
It doesn't give me the option. It says everyone or to Bob.
Yeah, say exactly. Everyone or Bob. That's what the options are.
Yeah, it doesn't give me the option.
Oh, normally you can. So
normally you can, but it doesn't now.
Okay, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's something set up. Anyways, so what I would suggest you guys do as a thought, and maybe you can text each other back and forth, get into small groups of 5 or 6 and play around with this stuff, like with Zoom or with GoToMeeting, or as I said, you all have Gmail accounts, and Meet. Send me an invite if you want and I'll join in. Not as academia, but as an event person like you. And the reason being is that if you try it out, you can get different options and angles and so forth that you can figure out how it's best going to suit you as a tool for you to move yourself forward in business. And that's the key to it. And that you're comfortable in working in these online platforms and so forth. We will get back to some form of gatherings. There's at some point, it could be 2 years from now, who knows? But we will be getting back to some form of gathering and we need to be prepared for it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to stop right now. I'm going to spend most of my summer, which is basically July and August, focusing on more on the conference, the meeting management side of it, and just diving into these large venues or sessions. The one from the UK that Sue Morris and I went into, I mean, it had 1,100 people. 1,100 people it was in a Zoom sort of setting with a keynote speaker. Then everyone broke out to different breakout sessions, and they had facilitators in each one of the breakout sessions. And then from there was coffee corners, and they took lunch breaks and all this kind of stuff and everything else. So it's something that I know that with the Sip Shop and Celebrate, which is the meeting that I've got next week with them, and I've got another meeting with SCRO, which is the Scarborough Community Renewal Organization. They're looking at taking their events online as well. So there might be an opportunity for us to do some development in that side. And maybe it becomes project for us. I'll talk to Marg today, see from there. I'll also reach out to George from Gervais as well and see what we've got out there for the experiential end of it. But if you see something or you see an event that's online, send the link out to all of us, or send it out, which you can by email, or if you're participating, send it to Ron, copy me on it if you'd like, because this is how we're going to learn. I knew nothing about the ones that were in this conference that was free to go to, actually, in the UK. And I did it obviously from home. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I knew nothing about it. It was really the collaboration from Sue Morris reaching out to me saying you might be interested in going to this one. With that being said, it's just about 4:15. If you have, you can email. Oops, I lost myself again. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Andrew, you still hear me? Okay. Yep, I'm back. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Technically up till Friday, and then Nicole Bailey starting Monday will be the coordinator of the program going forward to the end of August. So I'm basically on leave. If you reach out to me via bdallas at Centennial College or rdallas at my Centennial, you'll get an out of office notice. If you reach out through my Gmail account, which everybody should have, right? Yeah, I think, Andrew, yeah, it should be in your Gmail account. Like if the one that you,
there, right?
Yeah, it should be. You can always send me by Gmail. I don't check it all the time, but I mean, you guys are in your final semester, in your final 9 weeks, so I'll one way or the other we'll connect. If you've got something that you want to talk to me about. And if you want to set up a half-hour Zoom session like this, not academically, just industry-wise or whatever, I'd be more than happy. You might see me on my boat. That could be it. I could be holding up my iPad on my boat. I do plan on, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I can't go into the US. I can't travel anywhere. So I'm basically staying home, doing some research, doing some renovations, and going to my boat. That's it. And the club, sorry?
Staycation.
Staycation, yeah.
You're doing the staycation. That's all right.
Well, the problem with the boat is the club rules only allow, you have to keep social distancing, and your bubble can only be your family, right?
So we can't have a party on your boat then.
Maybe 1 year. We could put everybody in masks and gloves and stand around the perimeter of the boat.
That doesn't sound like fun. So we'll hold you to that for next year when we can all come by and have a party, right? We'll have a party on Bob's boat next year in June when
it's a 28-foot sailboat. I don't think it can fit more than about 6 people. We will discuss this. Good idea, Lisa. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Bob, I sent you an email.
Sorry?
I sent you an email.
Yeah, you know that I'm working off a tablet and my phone, right? So
You can still get your emails, right?
sorry,
You can still pick up emails, can you?
I can, but is it a lot of data you want me to type in or no?
No. Just look at it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'll have my computer up and running by tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, everybody's good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any questions? Email me, obviously, and I will we'll be in touch. And stay in communicate with your Gmail accounts, right?
Okay.
Keep them active. Okay, take care.
Bye.
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 Bye, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We have to leave.
Oh, do we have the dog
Andrea,
still?
what is the drink?
No, we don't have the dog, but I can get you gerbils.
Huh?
Oh, you have gerbils?
Yes.
I haven't had.
The
I used
smoothie.
to have gerbils actually.
Oh,
They're amazing. I have 2 of them.
I never
yeah.
tried it.
You should try it. It's quite refreshing, especially on a day like today.
What is it?
A smoothie from Tim Hortons.
Yeah, what flavor?
I think it's like a strawberry banana or something.
Okay, thanks.
I don't drink coffee.
Yeah,
so
it's strawberry banana smoothie.
Oh, that's
Strawberry banana.
I like that.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God.
What is that?
It's a gerbil.
Yeah.
Oh look!
You.
Oh, I love gerbils. I like all-
Mouth.
like
Look at
Rufus. His
Andrea's
name
face.
is Rufus.
That's Rufus. Where's Oreo?
Oreo, he's waiting for me to pick him up.
What is that going?
Rufus and Oreo.
he had. He calls. He calls.
I have
Look at-
2 of them.
Oh my God! They're so cute.
Look how Andrea's looking at the gerbil.
Is that Oreo?
This is Oreo with the black eyes, and this is Rufus with the red eyes.
Wow.
So would you keep them in?
Oh, I have a cage. I have a
Do you
big
have a
setup.
wheel?
I have a
Do you
big
have a wheel
setup.
for them?
Yeah, I think we have a view.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a wheel?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah?
I do have a wheel.
Yeah.
But
Do they
they
keep
barely play with it. I don't know
Oh.
why.
They don't keep you up at night?
No, they
Oh.
just kind of like throw it down and try to eat in that. I don't know why. These are
Interesting.
kind of different.
When I was a kid, I had long time ago, I had gerbils, and the gerbil would actually start on the treadmill when I'd go
Oh
to
my.
sleep at about 11 o'clock, and all night this thing would be going around like this.
Oh, the
You have to
one
take-
that I got is like it doesn't make much of sound. It's a plastic one. It's a new one.
Oh, okay.
So now they have these things which sound less or something like that. So you have to
Okay.
like spend a bit more, but then that is how it goes.
Perfect.
For their
Okay, guys. I'm going to, I think you're going to be shut down. I don't know how this actually,
Yep.
I don't even,
I think we all have to leave by ourselves because.
keys at the bottom right hand. Okay, guys, take care.
Okay, guys, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you guys.
Take care.
Bye, Bob.
bye. Be in touch.
Bye, Bob. Take care.
Bye. It's not working for me, guys, for some reason.